I'm going to put the new tire on here. Keep in mind I'm not an expert on putting these tires in, but that's kind of a good thing, because if you're an expert you don't need to be watching a video anyway. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to let the air out of this tube. I'm just going to take the core out of here, and I am planning on using a new tube, but you never know. Plus also, then I can keep this one as a spare, and at least if I ruin the original one, and you can use some big screwdrivers, but these are a little less likely to destroy your tube when you look in there. So first of all, kind of go through and push down, make sure it's not stuck on the bead, which it's not on these. Lube that up. Windex works as a tire lube, and you pretty much always got it. This makes it a little easier to slide out of there. So just slide that thing under there and try to just catch the lip of the tire without catching the tube if you can, and take that out of there. Then take the second one and just go a little ways further and try to catch that, and do it like that. Again, this tire is shot, and the tube I'm not that concerned about, so it makes this part a little easier. And then what I do, I just work my way around, and it gets really easy really quick, especially with the old tire with no air in it. I get it all the way out of the tube on this side, and then I'm good. Then I can flip it over. Now I have the brake drum in here, or the brake assembly in there, and that'll fall out if I turn it there. But when it's sitting on this table, it should be okay. Alright, so I think I'm gonna try to get the tube out first this time. There we go. Since the tube has no air in it, I can push that in there. I'm going to turn it back over this way. I've got this up. And now I can go ahead and remove this tube. And if I didn't puncture it, which I don't think I did, then it's still usable. I can save it. Although I can see now it's got a couple of patches in it, so I definitely won't save it. If I need it as an emergency because I've ruined the other tube putting it in, then I will do that. But hopefully I won't do that. So this is a real easy one here because it's almost out already. So I'm just going to go through, since the tube's out of it and everything. I'm just going to go through and see if I can just pop that out. This is not the way I'd normally do it, but this one is pretty easy to get out of there. And it's just peeling right off of there. Part of the deal is this tire is really shot, so it's and there we go. And that tire is completely shot. I'm sure you can't see it on the camera, but it's cracked along here. It's cracked on the sidewalls massively. It's just really shot. I don't know if I ever saw the date code on it, but it's got to be old. if I'm reading the code right, I think it's from 2002. If that's the code there. 602. And so I think it's from June of 2002. So that would make that thing pretty darn old. Now, as soon as you get it out, you want to check inside. I have a new rim strap for it, because the back tire I didn't have one, and I ended up using tape. But this one appears to be in good shape. So I'm going to go through here and check everything, make sure it looks good. I'm checking for rough spots, bad spots on the inside the rim, anything that might puncture my tube. There is a little rust in here, but there isn't anything that's really sharp that I'm feeling. There's a seam there, but it's not sharp. It's in pretty good shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this band on there since it's on there and it's fitting good. It seems to be fine. I've got the new tire. I did put some baby powder on the inside of the new tire so that to reduce the chafing. I don't think it's all that necessary on this bike, to tell you the truth, but I think it is. Now, I put a little bit of air in here just to keep it, not very much, just a little bit so it kind of holds its shape. And then I can put that in the tire. Okay, but I think I'm going to put the first side in the tire first, and then put this in, then step this in, get it situated, and then I'll on the other side of the tire. So I'm gonna spray this down just a little bit. Again, these are small tires. It's almost like a bicycle tire, so they're not very like this. Let's see if I can get it up there. A lot of times you can just kind of push that down in there. I like to have it on the stand so you don't have to lay on the ground to do it. I'm just kind of working it around there. It's actually almost in on the first side. There we go. So now that's in there on this side. Now I can flip it over, and I'll slide the tube in there. I'm going to start with the valve stem here and get it lined up. I'm not going to put it through until I get the whole tube in there, but just kind of make sure it's lined up. Then I just lift that up and kind of stuff that thing in there. Trying to make sure not have it too wrinkled, but that's one reason to have it partially inflated, because it won't tend to wrinkle and fold on itself as bad. Once you get it in there, it'll kind of fill up the volume and be okay. Again, very much like doing a tube in a bike, which I did a million times when I was a kid. I guess the tube lined up pretty well with that. Really want to make sure you're not putting a stress on the tube to go through that hole, though. So sometimes you have to kind of slide it around there. And then I'm just going to poke that down through, hopefully. Now, I want to try to slide that thing so that the tube is sticking straight out of there as much as possible. And then when I get it where I think it's straight, I take this other nut and I put it on there just kind of snug so that it holds it in the right spot. What you don't want is you don't want your valve stem to be sticking out at an angle, because that'll put stress on that tube. And the tubes are pretty tough, but if you put stress on it, it's just going to cause a problem. So I tighten it up. There is a nut on the other side. So I'll actually use a wrench and tighten that up when I'm done. So I've got that in there. And then I just kind of feel around, make sure the tube is seated okay and it's not being, it's not tangled or twisted or anything like that. Again, with the little bit of air in there, it's just not a big deal. So shouldn't be too hard to do that. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to stick this in here so it just catches the rim and doesn't catch the tube. So I put it in with the little lip facing down. I do want to loop that up though too. That makes it slide in just a lot easier. Again, Windex works good. It loops it up, and then when it dries, it doesn't really leave a residue. At least that's what they tell you when you wash your windows with it. So then I'm just going to work my way around. I'm just trying to be very careful not to pinch that tube while I do it. And it's quite easy to do it, to get it in there. And again, with a little bit of air in the tube, it's less likely to get down there and get in that. So once it gets seated, they do make a little lock that holds it in the bead while you're going around. With these tires, I found I haven't needed it, or at least I didn't on the other one, because again, it's not real hard, and that'd be an okay thing to have. But I take a little tiny bite each time, and since I've got the 3 irons, I leave one over there, and I just take the one out in the middle, and I kind of work my way around. And it does get tight when you get down to the end. Just catching the lip in there, just barely catching the lip. And so I shouldn't be touching that tube. I've seen some people who test their tube before they put it in, and I guess that'd be a good idea. I'm not, I haven't done a bunch of motorcycles, but with bicycles, I've never had a tube that was bad to begin with. That would be kind of aggravating if it was, because then you'd have to take it out. It would save you the hassle of doing that. if I had one bad, I would just probably be convinced that I pinched it somehow doing it myself. So you have to really take some small bites when you get down towards the end, because it does get hard to pull. I'm down to where I just have this spot here. It's almost there. Now it's all seated on the bead. So what I need to do now is check and make sure that it actually is seated there. Try to make sure the tube isn't pinched in there. I don't think it is. Maximum speed of 100 kilometers per hour, which is 62 miles an hour. I think that's pretty safe with me sitting on this thing. I'd have to be driving down a mountain with a hurricane behind me, I'm thinking, to get to 62. Again, I'm just checking this to see, make sure the bead is seated all the way around. It appears to be. So now I'm going to go ahead and pump this up. You won't be able to see me because my compressor's plugged in right over there. But I'm going to go ahead and pump it up. I'm going to pump it up all the way first. Okay, I've got 20 psi in it. Again, I'm going to just check it, make sure it looks okay around there. Just kind of bouncing it to make sure it's not going to pop out of the bead anywhere. Make sure it looks okay. And then I'll be done. And that is done. One new tire on there. I'm going to put it on the bike. I'm not going to film that. I filmed taking it off kind of, and it's pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to film that. That's be all for today.